I'm really excited to share with you guys today something I have noticed over the last, honestly, 15 years that I've really understood what it means to be a personal brand in your business. This is the one thing that across the board in studying hundreds of entrepreneurs in my business journey that I've noticed that is the missing piece that's missing for many of you as an established business owner in the offline space and you're trying to expand into the online space. One of the reasons why many people tend to move so much slower than they anticipate and than they really want to is because of this one fundamental piece that's missing in your marketing. So I want to walk you through exactly what I mean. I want to make this very practical for you. This is something that is so important. This is necessary in your business. And when I talk about a personal brand, I don't want you to be thinking about your logo or your fonts or your colors. Those are branding assets. That is not what we are talking about. What we are talking about is you. We're talking about you as the leader of your business. I'm not talking about content right now. I'm not talking about your bios, although that is part of it, and how you're showing up, but I'm talking about understanding the element that is surrounded around you and how you are the biggest asset in your business. It's not your funnels. It's not your branding. It's not your offer. It's not your services. It's not your website. It's none of that, okay? So first off, before I dive into what I want to share with you today, if we haven't officially met yet, welcome. My name is Gina Tassinelli. I'm the owner and founder of Hype Media. We are a boutique marketing done-for-you social media agency. We also have done-with-you services, and we work with clients and entrepreneurs and established experts just like yourself inside of done-with-you and done-for-you mastermind programs as well. And what we do is we are here to really help you be the category of one go-to solution to premium clients leveraging the online space with a really holistic and simplistic process, which I have called our visibility to profits ecosystem. And so today, what I want to share with you are no gimmicks, okay? This is about learning the latest social algorithm, and the algorithm is not what I'm talking about, the computer algorithm behind the platforms. This is actually your own algorithm. It's about becoming so undeniably clear, visible, and trusted that you become the only option in your space that people want to work with. Now, can they work with you? Maybe not. Maybe they can't afford you. That is okay too. Okay, that doesn't mean you need to lower your prices. But this is what I call our visibility to profits system. This is really the mission behind creating an ecosystem like this in your business. Because when your online presence is built right, your visibility is going to drive sales on autopilot. And yes, there are other nuances that are going to be a part of this, but really what I want to lay out today is the intention of how you are using yourself as a leader in your business, okay? So the first thing I'm going to call out is that most experts, I did this too, they think that their years of experience, their degrees, their success offline is automatically going to carry them into the online space. And it won't. And for those of you that have been trying and it hasn't, you're probably understanding exactly what I'm saying, okay? Nobody is actually Googling your credentials. I want you to know that. Nobody is going to see you on camera and say, hey, can you move your camera to see your certifications that are on your wall? Nobody's going to be asking that. They're actually judging your content. They're judging how you're showing up or not showing up, by the way. And that's really one of the things that drives me crazy when I hear smart, qualified entrepreneurs say things like, I'm not good at social. I don't like being visible. I'm a very private person. I'm not a video person. But at the same time, they expect their audience to feel certain that they are the one to deliver the solution that they're looking for. Meanwhile, here's what's actually happening behind the scenes. Much less qualified competitors of yours are everywhere online and winning the clients that should be yours, right? And why does this happen? Because the market responds to what it sees and hears consistently. And if you're not showing up with intention, you're getting grouped with that noise, or worse, people are just completely overlooking you, right? So let's talk about first what has changed over the course of the last, I would say, few years, but this has been going on for honestly more than a decade. A shift that we're seeing like over the last like 18 months or so is that people are still running ads. However, people are stuck on like old ad strategies, which for them are becoming way, way expensive. Doesn't have to be that way. That's number one. Number two, algorithms are not working in people's favors because they're not working with the algorithm as their best friend. Number three, people are skeptical. They're overwhelmed. They're burnt out. We are in a distrust era. Okay. And number four, people are sick of the fluff. They want like the real and the raw. But what's happening is many of you aren't doing any of this. Like, you're not giving them the real and the raw. You're not just creating that certainty. You're not working with the algorithm, right? So the brands that are actually winning right now, and brands, I'm talking about personal brands as well as corporate brands, those are the ones that are leading with perspective, not perfection. Those are the ones that are creating actual conversations, not just content, not just content dumping. Those are the ones that are showing their face, not just, their Canva. Those are the ones that are taking a stand, not just selling stuff. And those are the ones that are turning their audience into actual communities. Okay. So this is like a 5-step framework that I want you to think about when it comes to creating a personal brand that checks off all of those boxes. Meaning leading with perspective, creating conversation, showing your face, taking a stand, that's all about conviction, and turning your audience into a community. The first part of this is clarity. And this isn't about being cute or clever or having this polished mission statement. It's about owning your category, being that category of one, right? So this is going to answer what you stand for, what are you not in for, what unique beliefs do you bring to the space, to your industry. Because the thing is that if you're not clear about your positioning or on your positioning, your audience is going to be clear either, and they're going to just overlook you, right? And so most people think that they have a messaging problem, but what typically they really have is an identity problem. You have most likely, if you're not making the sales that you hoped that you would make from online, leveraging the online space, and you have been trying to do this for quite some time. When I'm talking about quite some time, I'm talking about for a year, 2 years, 3 years. I'm not talking about months, because there is a compound effect that needs to develop, okay? But what's happening is that most of you, if that's you, you are not identifying yourself as a true leader in your business. You're just not. And that needs to happen. You need to step it up as a leader, because there's no way that your ideal clients are going to follow you if you don't believe in yourself and you haven't embraced this identity that you are the one that they need. Okay. Even if there's competition out there, there's always going to be competition. All right. The second part to the personal brand framework is competence, showing, not just telling. This is a really hard one for many. And the easiest way to do this is with video. Okay. You don't need to prove yourself. You just need to demonstrate what you're thinking. So this means sharing frameworks, not just tips, breaking down case studies, testimonials, teaching what others are actually charging for. That means like bringing value to the table, giving people a reason to trust you. So thought leadership is not about being perfect at all. It's about being clear, it's about being compelling, and it's about having conviction. You want people saying, I trust her because she helped me think differently. I get this all the time, like, Gina, you have such a practical way of putting things into perspective so that they make sense, and that, I actually feel like I can do this. That is just part of me, right? And I am sharing a part of me with all of you. That's just me being real and raw. I'm not trying to be perfect at all. I'm just sharing, simple, practical steps. And I will tell you, and I say this all the time, I am not about trends at all. I can't stand them, even style trends, and I love style, right? There are some things that will maybe start off as a trend and then they have long lasting capability to them. And I'm going to share one of them in just a second, but I'm actually doing it right now in the moment, live streaming. But I am not about all the BS and all the hacks and all that bullshit. All right. I'm going to tell you the truth, how it is, right? So with that comes part 3 of this framework. It's having confidence. Okay, I am confident in what I'm sharing and what I'm teaching because I walk the talk. I speak from my own journey and my own experience. And I want to be the voice. I have to share that, right? So the way that I don't want to say build confidence, but honestly, in a way you're earning confidence with yourself is by taking action. And no, this does not mean that you have to be extroverted. It means you want to be seen no matter what. You want to be heard because what you believe in your mission, in your vision, the way that you want to impact others, if you truly believe that, then you're going to share your voice. But if you're just looking for the sale and you're just posting content, I'm going to tell you, like, that's very short-lived. Okay. So I still remember sweating through my shirt doing Facebook Lives. I've done now about over 1,500, but I would show up, like, I would break out in hives. I would be super anxious. My voice was super shaky, but I kept going live, right? Week after week after week, because reels weren't a thing back then. I still go live, even though reels are also a great piece of content to put out there, but I still go live because I know that I can dive deeper with my audience. And I do it every single week. I was sweating under my pits for a long time and I would still do it, but whatever, right? So nothing builds trust like a human face with a real-time message. And that's when DMs also start for you, when you can create spark conversation. So this is when you go from being invisible to being in demand. And this is me doing this like year after year, week after week after week, honestly, for I don't know how many years now. Like I said, somewhere between 8 to 10. Showing up live, this is why I love teaching our live to in-demand method, right? And I've created that. It's now become this thing, okay? The fourth part to this framework is community. When you are building your personal brand, you are actually building a space of people wanting to belong to a part of you. And that is when the return on your investment, on the time that you're spending online, becomes more than just likes, okay? It happens in the DMs. It happens in comments, it happens in conversations, it happens behind the scenes, it happens when you go live, it happens in your content, it happens in all of it. You are building a community around your personal brand using all of those different assets. And community happens when people see you consistently because it has this compounding effect. When you create spaces for connection, right? So like this is a space for connection. Our programs are a space for connection. My one-on-one clients are a space for connection. Like I was just on a client with one of our mastermind clients who's also part of our hybrid program where we actually create her own content. And our call yesterday went an extra hour. I was okay with it. Why? Because I have built a community around what I do and I'm okay with creating the safe space for her where we can really like dive deep into the things that are happening in her business. And so we had to go that extra hour and that's fine. I had the time to do it. My point is that people aren't going to buy from you just because they understand you. They're going to buy from you when they feel understood by you. Okay. And that's when you create this community aspect around your brand, not just community by creating a group, right? But community by creating conversations, by DMing, by having that human connection with people, by showing your face on camera. People begin to feel like you actually understand them. Don't worry about them understanding you. It's about you understanding them. You want them to feel that resonance, right? And that is what happens also when people start dropping your name in rooms that you're not in. That's the power of having a personal brand, okay? All right, the fifth part to this is the compounding effect. So building enough touch points with your audience, it's going to move the needle. And that's something that is not happening with a lot of people. And I know this because I have conversations even with our clients and I will ask them questions like, okay, so you sent one message and that means that they don't want to hear from you. When did you hear a no? And they're like, I didn't get a no. And I'm like, well, why are you putting in your head that they don't want anything to do with you or that they don't want to buy your offer? You only messaged them once. You only tried to have one touch point with them, okay? So there is a Google rule. I've talked about this often. Google came out with this, I think like a year and a half ago or so. And what it means is it's the Google rule of 7-11-4, okay? Here's what this means. In order to convert a cold lead, all right, they need to at least consume 7 hours of your content, at least have 11 touch points with your business, at least see you across 4 platforms. And I'm going to explain each of these. So 7 hours of content. If you are only posting written content, imagine how many pieces of content people have to read to consume at least 7 hours of that. The same person. That's a lot, right? That's one of the reasons why I love video. Second part to this, 11 touch points with your brand. So let's say somebody sees my live video today, right? That's one touch point. And you're brand new to my group. That's one touch point. Let's say I send you a DM. That's a second touch point. But you have to actually see it, right? Let's say you open up one of my emails. That's a third touch point. Let's say you see my post on my personal profile. That's a fourth touch point. Now, I'm hoping that you're going to see all these things. But you typically don't see all of these things all at once. You see them over time. And that's why we have to have this compounding effect. And this is like real numbers. There's a whole science behind this that people don't get. Not to mention, every time you post something, only about 1 to 3% of your audience is seeing it at any given time. Not to mention, if you're sending out email campaigns, look at your open rate. If it's less than 25%, that's like nothing, okay? Not to mention, what if they don't see your DM, right? Because there is an algorithm in the DMs. If you're not friends with them on Facebook, it's harder for them to see your message. They typically don't even know to look at their message request folder. But all of a sudden you think that they don't want to hear from you because they didn't respond, right? So we have to consider this is a real rule, and this is just an average. I'm talking about minimums because nowadays it's actually much higher. And this is why I am so on top of my clients to do their Ignite Power Hour, or at least 15 minutes a day. Do you guys see how passionate I am about this? Because I can't stress this enough. This is what we help you with inside of our programs. Doesn't matter whether it's our $197 a month program or our, even if you're an agency client and our retainers start at $3,500 a month. We are working on these things with you because it's only going to help what you're doing online. Okay, but you've got to remember this. So don't get discouraged if you send one DM and nobody responds. Like, hello, follow up. That doesn't mean no. That means they probably didn't see your message. Here's the other thing I want you to remember. We are all getting hit with over 4,000 to 10,000 marketing messages every single day. So it's not that people don't care, it's that they are overstimulated and they are savvy and they are distracted. So my husband asked me yesterday, how was your day? How did it go? I'm like, oh my gosh, I know that I had meetings, but I can't even remember what I did in between those meetings. Right? So I have messages that like people message me or text me even. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I am so sorry. It got pushed way down. Things happen. I was in the school drop-off line. I was doing this. I was doing that. By the time I get home, I have to do something else. And you just forget, right? So it's not that people don't care. It's that they're overstimulated. I'm going to give you another quick example. So one of my clients, she said, Gina, no one wants to buy my offer. I said, okay, let's break it down. So she told me she messaged 5 people. Like these people are on her warm target list to message. And this is part of what we do in our power hour, but you could do this over 15 minutes too. So I asked, make a target list of 5 to 10 people to connect with every single day. She had a warm list of people. These were 5 people, right? She said, and there was kind of a sense of urgency because she had this virtual event getting started. And she said, I messaged 5 people. Only one said no. And I go, what about the rest? She's like, well, I just assume they're not interested because they didn't get back to me. And I'm like, what? So you're telling yourself this story. You DM them once. You sent them because she said, well, my other touch points in my email campaign, the link is there to buy into the virtual event. And then she said, and I sent a mass SMS marketing campaign and the link was there. And I go, no, I'm talking about you personally reaching out and saying, hey, I just want to make sure that you didn't miss this. Hey, what did you think about this? Hey, I'm surprised I haven't seen you on the list yet. Like touch points, personal touch points. Okay? So we just talked about the 5 pieces to building the personal brand, right? But the next part to this that I want you to understand is that thought leadership is going to win all the time. And that is part of like you being the personal brand. Many of us, we want to shortcut this. We don't want to show up on camera. We don't want to be vulnerable. We don't want to show behind the scenes. We don't want to just like have conversations, right? But here's the thing. That shortcut is not getting you anywhere. Posting educational content every single day is super easy. People can Google that shit. Doesn't matter, right? But positioning yourself with conviction as the solution, that is taking leadership. And so thought leadership means having an actual opinion, leading with your beliefs, not with like bullet points in every single post, showing how you think and taking a position that people are actually going to remember, okay? Because people follow experts, yes, but people buy from leaders. So yes, we are all experts, but are you a leader? And that's the difference between being followed for inspiration and likes and vanity numbers, and the difference between being booked for an actual transformation where you're going to make an impact on your next client. Okay, so that's thought leadership. The next piece to this is like when you put all of this together, this is actually building your very own visibility to profits ecosystem, right? That's where you pull all of this together. It's not random content, it's intentional visibility with a sales purpose. Okay. And here's my tip on doing this that will stomp every other way of doing this. And this is the part that I've been doing for about 8 to 10 years. A power value video, a live power value video once a week. It's going to last about 10 to 20 minutes maybe. You could do it recorded too, sure. But I'm going to tell you this about recording. You're going to mess up a whole bunch of times and it's going to take you forever to edit that. So just go live, okay? So 1 video per week, try to do it the same day, same time, every single week. Have a strategic topic that's gonna tie into your offer or your expertise. And then you wanna teach during that video, but you teach like through story, through process, through belief shifting, kind of like what I've been doing today. And then you take that video and then you break it up into other pieces of content to keep everything super cohesive. You're not starting from scratch. Break it up into reels, break it up into emails, carousel posts, blog posts, LinkedIn articles, all those amazing things. But it's you showing up on video. And this has a compounding effect that's going to get you closer to that 7-11-4 rule. Remember that I just shared with you? And then you layer in DMs. You have a trust-based entry offer. You nurture people. You get them closer to wanting to work with you and saying yes to you. Okay? So that's a wrap for that. And I will see you guys next week. Bye, guys.